This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. Would you like to move your life forward? Let's say things are kind of stuck, and you'd like to get those things that you feel you deserve. Maybe a better job, being able to even just something simple as go on a plane without anxiety. It's called hypnotherapy. Would you stop smoking? It's called hypnotherapy. Realize how your childhood is really controlling your adulthood. It's called hypnotherapy. We're going to talk about that and so much more today. And really the process, what is actually going on when you're hypnotized. And I know that could be a scary word for some, and I mean this with love, get over it, because I did, and it's been life-changing. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist at Center for Inner Wellness. Becky Waters is back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Same. And just to share, this is what you do. This is your life's work, your purpose in helping people change their lives. And hypnotherapy has changed mine and still does. Like I'm curious, when you work with someone and they realize what was going on in their childhood, and we all have memories, but sometimes there's things that we don't remember, or we don't feel, we don't process as a limiting situation. What's that like when you work with somebody, Becky, and they make that, I call it connecting the dots, that connection, and they say, oh, that's why I do what I do now as an adult. It's got to be very powerful, right?
Right. Yeah. It's, because we live the life that our subconscious mind believes in, and those, I call them misperceptions that we made early on in life when we had no life experience, they're still running the show. And, you can know what they are from that mind chatter gives you clues. And, when you kind of realize, oh, I had that belief that I'm not lovable, for example, whatever your personal lie is. And once you kind of figure out that belief, you can then work to change it, to literally update the software through hypnosis, because we learn through association and repetition. And so hypnosis helps us do that.
Do you feel, based on everything you've learned with the way the mind works, that we are creating our reality? Some believe also, if you go a couple of steps further, that we manifest everything that happens in our life. But a lot of it, we're in charge. We may think we're not because of outside forces and things that go on and whatever it might be, but essentially, we're in charge. We don't realize how much our hand is on our life steering wheel. Do you feel that way?
Yes. It's kind of I'm not sure what the word is. It's true and it's not true. We do have control. I mean, we don't have control of what happens to us, but we have control of how we respond, and how we respond comes from the subconscious mind and all those beliefs and the paradigm that we live in. And, it's kind of, the law of attraction kind of thing. It's not woo-woo, it's science. Because that reticular activating system in the brain filters out everything except what is important to us. And it knows what's important by what we repeat over and over, the thoughts and the beliefs, whether they're conscious or not.
Is it all coming from our subconscious? Everything that we're pretty much doing. And I've heard numbers of like 90 to 95% of what we do when we're awake is the subconscious. We're on autopilot, essentially. Is that really what's going on here?
Yes, because, have you ever walked in a room and you don't remember why you went in there?
Yeah.
So you were in one room and you consciously think, I'm going to go get this or look for this. And you go in there and you completely forget it because you made the decision. Then you automatically walked into the next room that you probably walked in a million times and just went on autopilot, totally forgot.
Mm.
And unfortunately, that's the way a lot of people live their lives. Just go into autopilot, the rituals, the automatic habits. Yeah.
Mm. um, if we didn't do hypnotherapy, life is very limiting when you really think about all the things that we've been through, and the list I'm sure is pretty much endless, from fear of abandonment, fear of success, feeling that you're not good enough. There's so many things there. Just everyday life. It's being controlled by the subconscious. I feel that after learning this, doing hypnotherapy, that we don't realize how a lot of those little things in our childhood are actually big things now in our adulthood.
It sets up our literally our paradigm, our rules for life. What is possible for us, what's not possible. Those first 15, 18 months of life, we are, building those neural pathways, and deciding, is it safe to be here? Am I wanted? Can I get my needs met? If I cry, will somebody come? If somebody comes consistently, it builds that neural pathway of I can get my needs met. I can speak up and get my needs met. If it's not consistent, then there is a doubt about that. And potentially, I can't get my needs met. I'm not lovable. I'm not wanted, all those things.
Yeah. It's almost amazing that you just said, even during the toddler years, that we're figuring this all out. And it comes back, you said the S word. It's a 4-letter word, by the way, safe. Is it that we always want to feel safe? And is that kind of the baseline for most of what we're dealing with, what we're talking about here?
Yeah, because that, the primitive part of our brain that does the fight flight response is all about safety, the bottom line, keeping us safe. And, we don't live, the thing is, it still thinks it's 10,000 years ago when we lived as cavemen and women with, weather patterns we don't understand, the savage natives coming over the mountain anytime. And so, we've got to put everything on autopilot to keep energy left. And it doesn't understand that there's no more lions and tigers and bears anymore, generally, that we don't run into. And so anytime but there's like an upset, we go out of homeostasis, and that triggers that fight flight system, and we either are anxious, that's the modern version of fight, or we go into depression or withdrawal. That's the modern day version of flight. And so it's always determining. It doesn't understand that a phone call from a boss or an email that creates oh no, it doesn't understand that it's, you're going to be dinner.
The more I'm looking at us wanting to feel safe, even if somebody smokes. Now, there's many different reasons for that. Maybe we can go into that, in a moment. But it almost seems like it comes back to, again, another feeling of safety by smoking. Would that be possible?
Yeah, because generally smoking becomes the stress relief. And the crazy thing is, if you would just take a breath, because a smoker takes the breath, holds it, and then blows out slowly. If you just do that without all the chemicals, that would turn on the parasympathetic system and turn off the fight-flight response. And so they associate, though, that with, I need a cigarette, I'm stressed out, to feel safe, to be in that place of homeostasis, because our natural state is a state of ease and well-being, that homeostasis growth place.
Can you give example? It's classic that hypnotherapy can help people with smoking. A lot of times that's the first example, right? And I've heard anywhere from one session to a few, and that's, you're good. What would be some of the reasons from our subconscious, why somebody would be a smoker? And, go hypothetical, maybe some things that you've encountered when working with patients.
Right.
What would be some of the reasons?
Well, most of my clients, most people start smoking in their teens. And it's teens, we want to be big, adults and big shots, and
or look cool with our peers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, get along with the peers, be with the cool kids. And so the thing is, there's an emotional reason strong enough to override that first cigarette when your body goes, what the heck are you doing here? But there's an emotional reason, so you keep doing, so you teach the body that, no, this is what I want instead, and I'm going to go through this pain to get to that emotional benefit. And so the subconscious mind goes, well, okay, you're going to do this. We want to keep things the same because that's all it cares about. And so it goes, I'm going to give you cravings so that we'll keep this up, and then like any addiction, you have to do more and more and more and more. And so it sends the cravings, and we begin to associate, after a meal, while you're driving, all those associative times. And so when I'm working with clients to stop smoking, we're literally doing that process in reverse. You've got to have the emotional reason that's strong enough to override the discomfort of change.
Interesting. And habit, it's a habit, kick the habit, right? Yeah. It's a habit, but I see the connections, the signals that habit has to be something regular. So what is that? After dinner, I'm going to have a smoke. I'm at work. It's 11 a.m. It's time for a smoke. You've associated, you just said that, the association with that. And is it true that there always, when it is a habit, maybe an addiction, that there always has to be something pleasurable with it? There has to be that, quote unquote, win. What is it with smoking? It makes me feel comfortable. It calms me down. Whatever it is, whatever the reason is. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. And I guess.
Yeah, a habit. Yeah, the habit has, I used to say 3 parts. You've got the cue, but then there's also what the reward's going to be. So it's the motivation there for that reward. And you've done it over and over, and then you do the habit, and then there's the reward. For smoking, at first, it was the reward of being in with the cool kids, for example. Mm-hmm. For stop smoking, before that, it's the reward of, it's associated with calming down, stress relief, taking a break, taking my time. And so when you're learning to not smoke, to be free again, you've got to have that, what's the benefit of, and when you have the trigger, you put the new benefit there. So you break that habit. So it goes into the automatic response.
So we're using smoking as an example, but this is just an example for hypnotherapy. When you work with somebody, Becky, and let's say they're a smoker, do you uncover why they're smoking? Like the ultimate reason? And for many, do we not even know why we smoke? We just do it.
Well, generally, we talk about why they started, and generally it's for peer pressure. Sometimes, I had clients that smoke just as something like had a client that the mom left when they were a teenager, and so they smoked as something to do, or, working on, trying to get through that emotional thing. But generally it's because, peer pressure. And so, and then every smoker knows it's a habit.
Mm.
It's just a habit. And so, it's lost that original benefit, be cool, and they realize, 40, 50, 60 years old, it's not cool anymore.
But do people really learn the real reason through hypnotherapy why they pick up a cigarette? Does it get revealed from their subconscious?
Usually the people that come know it's a habit, and they've tried
But
to
why is
quit
it a
on
habit? The ultimate reason. Yes, I'm in a habit of doing it, but there's
Yeah,
got to be
right.
a
So
reason floating out there in the subconscious, right?
it's the reason is that I teach is because the subconscious mind wants to keep things the same, and it doesn't care if you're happy or sad, if it's good for you or not. It
Mm,
just wants to keep things the same, which is why sometimes, unfortunately, you'll see people on oxygen still smoking on their
mm.
deathbed, still smoking.
Wow. Yeah,
That's the power of that subconscious mind.
the power of the subconscious mind, which is there ultimately to protect us,
Right.
keep us safe. But
And
if,
safety, the thing is, safety to that subconscious mind means keeping things the same.
same, yeah, because we don't like change. It doesn't
It
feel
doesn't
safe.
like change at all because
Yeah,
it's got to predict what's going to happen, because those savage natives can come over anytime.
yeah. Or if I don't pick up that cigarette, then I don't know how I'm going to feel because I know how I feel with it. And there was that one
Yeah.
or two times where I was on a plane and wasn't able to smoke for 3 hours, and I didn't feel comfortable, i.e., safe. So I got to go
Yeah.
back to it as per my
Right.
subconscious.
Yeah.
Wow, pretty powerful stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and going back to some of the hypnotherapy basics, you're not rewiring somebody's mind. You're not, putting mind control in. You're simply giving us the keys through hypnosis to access that, so that we can have
Right.
those realizations, while we're under hypnosis.
Right. And the word hypnosis just represents a trance state that we go through many times. The most obvious is when you lay down to go to sleep, you're awake, at some point you're asleep, and that place between awake and asleep, the brain waves are slowing down. And as the brain waves slow down, we go into that daydreamy kind of place. The brain waves are slowing down. And that place where you're not awake yet, you're not really asleep, that's called the hypnoidal state.
Hmm.
And that then we drop into unconscious sleep. So we use that natural ability to put the gatekeeper, that part of the conscious mind, on the back burner so that we can talk to that subconscious part. It's more open, um, plant seeds of change, new ideas, new mentally rehearse. For instance, being free. What would that be like to breathe and have energy and all the things that you're limited by from smoking?
Hmm. And again, we're just using smoking as an example,
Yeah,
just to go hypothetical here. But there's so many different things that hypnotherapy can help you work through. And fear of abandonment, I think that's a
yeah.
pretty big one, I would imagine.
hmm
Yeah.
And
And
it doesn't really matter what the habit is, because those thoughts are habits as well.
right.
And if there's a fear of abandonment, for example, your mind's on the lookout for anything that resembles being abandoned. And so you're less likely to step out, um, relationships, inadvertently, you'll act in a way that
Mm, yeah,
it makes it happen. It's, self-sabotage. That's
100%. It's a It looks like your Wi-Fi froze for a moment. I'm not really sure if you can still hear me. Um,
Oh,
there we go.
yeah, I can still hear. Sorry.
Okay. So question on that. Let's say from childhood you have this limiting belief, whatever it is. Fear of abandonment, you don't feel like you're adequate enough, whatever it is. From your childhood on up to adulthood, is your subconscious always looking for evidence to back up whatever that belief is?
Yes, absolutely. It's that reticular activating system. It's looking for that. It becomes the lens that we see life. We evaluate through that perception. We hear through those filters. Yeah. So whatever we believe, we're right.
Right. And I've got the evidence to prove it. And it could be by way of your subconscious looking for it. And you don't even know it's doing it. That's the crazy part. It could be, let's say you have a fear of abandonment, and let's say, hypothetically here, you're an adult and somebody cancels plans to get together. Just a friend. Yeah, just something came up, can't do it. In your subconscious, I got to believe, if you have that belief, that it's saying one more time, there we go, there's more evidence. Yeah,
there you go.
You're on your
I'm
own
not
again.
good enough, or
Right.
loved, or whatever the reason is under that. Yeah.
Wow, it's powerful. I look at it this way, Becky. Knowing what the subconscious can do and how it pilots on old information from your childhood, how do we even function on a daily basis? How do we even get through life? It's amazing, right?
But the point, the trick here, not the trick, but the thing to remember is that you can use that power of the subconscious mind to advantage by, realizing what those negative beliefs are and turn them around into positive beliefs and ideas about yourself. I deserve love. I deserve people appreciate my company. Everybody wants to be around me, because whatever you tell yourself, whatever you believe, you're right.
But along with hypnotherapy, should there be things that we should be saying to ourselves, like call them affirmations, mantras, positive statements, to disengage the belief that you might have?
Right. It's, turning it around. First you've got to be aware of what those negative beliefs are and that mind chatter. And when you catch it, turn it around, and we create an image of what they want to be, and all the benefits of living that life, and you give that to that subconscious mind to start beginning to reframe and reassociate. So whatever the trigger was, you reassociate it with this, I'm powerful, or whatever that affirmation is, with a vision, and feel it. And that begins to create those associations and changes.
Even the fear of abandonment, you might say, I'm a good person. People love to be around me. Now, things like that to repeat, just to back up that, squash that limiting belief.
But you have to do it, you can do it consciously, thinking about it over and over and over. It's about being in that daydreamy state and mentally rehearsing it, the feeling of it. What would you be doing? How would it feel to go through your day? What would be different? And as you visualize that and put the five senses with it, it starts to be real to the subconscious that doesn't know the difference if you're thinking it or actually doing it.
And therein lies even manifestation, where they say you need to feel it like inside in your heart, not in your mind, but really embrace whatever that feeling is of whatever goal you're trying to achieve. Could be even, I want a new job. I'm going to get a job that truly supports me, where I can make a lot of money. And I feel that inside.
Or I'm in a job already.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah. Believe it's already happening.
Or whether it is already happening. I mean, when you're in that fabulous job and when you're feeling confident and loved, you're going to be brushing your teeth, you're going to be cooking dinner, you're going to be driving down the road. Practice that
Mm,
feeling and that
mm.
being as if it's already true while you're doing those things
Yeah.
to help.
There are
To,
even some that believe you have a job, it's okay. But instead of complaining about it, show up like you are the CEO. Feel
yeah,
that, what that feels like just in your mind. You don't have to walk around and order people to do this and do
yeah,
that, but just have that feeling of like, I have arrived. I'm here. This feels good. I love my job. This is great. This is the
yeah,
one that I really always wanted because it will show up if you have that mentality. Yeah.
right,
Very powerful.
right.
Amazing. The mind is amazing. Becky, best way to connect with you, start a conversation. I mean, this is something you've been doing for years and years and years, helping people transform their lives. How do we find you?
My website is Center for Inner Wellness, and you can book a discovery call, and we can have a talk about how you want to change, how you want to be,
Because you can.
because you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Centerforinnerwellness.com. Thank you so much for being here today. Always love when we talk and like go deep into understanding what's going on with all of us. But and again, it's amazing how we do function, but imagine functioning better. Imagine having that great
Yeah.
job, that situation. Imagine not smoking. Looking forward next time we get a chance to get together.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be
Bye-bye.
right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.